Good morning. This is Eric with VEXT Science, Eric Offenberger. Thank you, David, for inviting me to your conference. Really appreciate what you've been doing following the company. I'm going to walk you through our investor presentation through November. As some of you are aware, we just completed successfully a private placement equity raise with Beacon and Canaccord. So this slideshow is updated with that information. So the first slide is to take you through the safe harbor rule, and you all see that. So on the second slide, VEXT Science is established in Arizona. We started in 2013. We're transitioning to adult use in 2021. As you're aware, November 3rd was very favorable for us for adult use in Arizona with approximately 60%. VEXT Science, through our subsidiary of New General Holdings, supports 2 operating dispensaries in Arizona. Arizona is a vertical state, so we have cultivation, manufacturing, kitchen, and retail. We do the retail under the Herbal Wellness Center brand, and as I mentioned, it opened in 2013, so we've been in the space for quite a while. We were the second operating dispensary in Arizona. We acquired a secondary license in April of 2020, and that opened in July of 2020. We relocated the store. We market under the Vapin brand for the concentrates and edibles, and currently we're in 80% plus of the dispensaries operating in the state. The state of Arizona has 130 potential licenses, of which 121. As I mentioned, we're moving to adult use. And the existing operators are protected. They are automatically granted a license. We have 6 additional states that we have relationships in. The deals are structured to generate return on capital and provide us like a call option if we ever wanted to roll up the minority partner or the other partner. We've got a proven management track record in profitable multi-state manufacturing distribution, and in particular in the cannabis section. We have good capital and we operate profitably. The insider alignment at a fully diluted after the raise is less than 45%. This is a little bit of a snapshot on the US market, looking at where it's at. We don't anticipate problems with pushing up volume in the US market with cannabis. I think you all saw that on the election, you know, that it's gaining traction in multiple states. Some of them that are traditionally a little bit more conservative, such as South Dakota, has gone along, and some of the areas up around Denver. Our take is that the US will move to a decriminalization market, not a legalized market, which will benefit us from the standpoint of protecting the market on the licenses with the states, and you won't see a traditional distribution model come into play. What it'll do, though, is it'll open up the banking sector and it'll decrease the criminal penalties associated with it. We also think that our belief is that that makes it easy to transition within the government for a political standpoint. They'll have cover on it, and it addresses some of the social injustice issues. And you're seeing that in certain states, and we talk about that a little bit later in the slides. This is the current industry structure, and we consider that this is going to stay that way. That if you look at traditional product lines, they have a national distribution network where they manufacture on pot, spart, put it into a distribution center, and distribute it out, low cost. In cannabis, because you're isolated to, you have to manufacture it, distribute it all within that state. You don't have the opportunities from a traditional standpoint of an economy of scale. So you operate in the state. Your economies really come on the back ends with your back office stuff, your HR administration, your payrolls, your supply chains, those types of things. And that's one of the advantages of VEXT, since we've been in the space since 2013. We have a nice supply chain and we have the good brand. So it's easy for us to capitalize on that and push it out to the marketplace as we go into different states or different directions. And then you're dealing with, again, the regulations in each state. Each state has a little bit of a twist, a little bit of different requirements, what they're doing. We start to talk about what VEXT strategy is. We like limited license states. For you in Colorado, I'm sorry, but we don't like Colorado. We like the limited license states. We think they offer the best returns. It's almost, it sets up like an oligopoly. They're tightly controlled, the number of licenses issued in retail manufacturing. It has oversight, tends to have oversight by multiple committees, multiple state agencies, which makes it a little bit harder for entry and protected. Again, adds additional local regulations, zonings, et cetera. And the vertical integration gives you a longer runway. So it's a little bit, it's harder for entry. It's a little bit more profitable when you operate. So we did a breakdown. So if you look at cannabis in Colorado versus Ohio, Colorado adult use market estimated at 1.85, 583 adult use dispensaries. So roughly 14.1 dispensaries per 100,000. They're accepting new applications, no limits, and it's regulated by Department of Revenue, purely a tax play. If you look at Ohio, by contrast, which is a market we're really bullish on, it's a medical market, $200 million market at this point in time, 51 dispensaries, 2.5 per 100,000. They're not taking applications for cannabis, and it's regulated on the cultivation and processing by the Department of Commerce. And on the retail dispensary side, it's regulated by pharmacy. You have in Ohio 13 million population. Arizona adult use. So in Arizona, we passed adult use finally in 2021. The medical only proposition, it goes back. Right now, there's about 236,000 registered patients in Arizona. It's 840 million in cannabis sales. Arizona is a limited license state. So the dispensaries, as it says here, is capped at 131, of which 121 are operational. There's 1.8 per 100,000 residents right now. That's based upon the registered patients. Vertical integration, so you've got barriers to entry and growth. There's not applications being accepted currently. The new applications that'll come out in the next, with the adult use, is 26, I believe, and those are going to be social justice licenses. We don't anticipate seeing that as competitors for about 2 years. They will still have the zoning issues and the location issues. The one oddity of Arizona, and if you've read David's research, he highlights that because that's the biggest thing to get your mind around, is the dispensaries operate as a not-for-profits. So you cannot own the license, you can just manage it or perform management agreements. So there's an opportunity, we think, for the social equity licenses in this state, as we've seen in other states, where somebody might get the license and they really need a partner in order to execute that. And a lot of them will not have the depth of capital, so they're going to need some of the help. So we feel that VEXT is one of the only pure plays in Arizona. We don't have a wide footprint all over the place. We're isolated here for the most part for our focus. This is the Arizona structures. We talked about it. So if you're looking at our P&Ls, and again, I want to go back to the area that in the cannabis space, we do operate profitably. I think that sets us apart, and we're one of the unusual ones in that space. But we operate with these not-for-profits. They hold the license certificate, they hold the real estate or lease it back from us. We provide them management services, professional services, product sales, et cetera. That's how our revenue stream comes. Our revenue stream is based upon like a percentage of completion contract. whereas we incur expense on their behalf. We then charge them for that in a month based upon an agreed upon rate. The dispensaries that we manage only have 2 employees at each. All other employees are through a VEXT subsidiary. They then pay for those services through our operating subsidiaries, and then the revenue goes up into the VEXT Science at a consolidated level. We do not consolidate the not-for-profits. You might see some people in the space that are operating in Arizona that will tell you they do that. Legally, they can't. We don't have enough cover so that if the state ever looked at it, it'd be an issue. Okay. And that's regulated. We're not sure what's going to happen under adult use. Retail footprint in Arizona right now is we operate Herbal Wellness Center, which was the first, which is located in Central Phoenix, which has good traffic. It's one of the top 3 to 4 stores in the marketplace as far as revenue generation per month. It's been open since 2013. Now you might ask, why is there a bullet for parking spots? Part of the issue with the dispensaries is Phoenix is limited to 2,000 square feet. One of the biggest challenges of transitioning to recreational is going to be able to get those customers in and out and have ample parking spots. We're not limited on our parking spots is the point of that. We have a facility right next to the Herbal Wellness Center, as you can see in the picture, that's 3,000 square feet. And we bought that in order to have waiting space. Those are separate parcels. We are in process of looking at zoning them as one parcel with adult use passing so that we picked up the additional parcel and can give ourselves the ability to expand to Phoenix's new standard of 5,000 square feet. The last slide or last picture you see is the one that we just opened in July. And that one has 95 parking spots. It's a fast turn setup. It really, not that COVID was a blessing for anybody, but the fact that this opened in July, it was configured with online ordering in mind, and their average wait time to turn a patient out is about 8 minutes. This is our manufacturing and distribution. So obviously we're like everybody else. We'll tell you we have state-of-the-art cultivation. We spend a lot of time and money in technology, manufacturing. We have our own labs, testing, and then retail and distribution. We're in process right now of construction of a new lab that'll be about 4,500 square feet in size. We're redoing our finished goods and fulfillment area, kitchen area, and processing manufacturing to put the product together. That'll give us expansion of the cultivation also. We have a core staff. We have PhD level organic chemists on staff, PhD candidates in the plant science area. So the science isn't just a marketing name of VEXT. It truly is. We have a science background. Our flower is organic. We use natural products, solvent-free terpenes. Simply put, states regulate the testing. We test clean. If we have an issue, we have the chemists on staff that can remediate any issues. And that seems to be something that you really want, we really watch to make sure we're there. Again, our leadership team's got a background in manufacturing, distribution, and product development. I'm not a capital markets guy. I've been an operator for the last 35 years in distribution and manufacturing. That's our backgrounds. We work on our processes to drive our consistency and quality. It allows us to scale, but it also allows us to control our cost structure. Ongoing investment in equipment. We've made a lot of investment in the equipment and making sure that we're up to speed. We have a proven wholesale team. The brand's well received in Arizona. It's been here for a long time. It's carried in the dispensaries. In the dispensaries in Arizona, we don't carry one product line. Our dispensaries carry a wide variety of other brands so that you're giving that consumer the one-stop shop. And VEXT vaping's been well received that way. One of the top selling brands, you look at our flower, our clears, our extracts, our kitchens, and the bullets behind it. We do hand trimming. We do more multiple price points based upon the consumer. We might grow some higher quality stuff for the connoisseur. We might grow higher weight product for the price conscious person. So we have a variety. Our concentrates are all solvent free. We've never cut them, so we've never had to deal with that issue that came up a couple years ago. Our extracts are processed in the back, full spectrum. We use ethanol extraction on the clear side and a carbon-based extraction on the extracts, the concentrates. Our kitchen is a small batch production. We don't do large manufacturing. All of our products have won awards over the years. And then we have a full line of CBD product that we supply internally from one of our relationships with a joint venture in Kentucky. So we control it from grow all the way through to retail. Brand strength, we talk about our social media, and this is important to look at so that this is how the brand's been recognized of how we're able to market. So you look at, we've never paid for advertisement. We've been adapted by a lot of the influencers in the industry. You see a couple photos down there below of the influencers that have used our product, that talk about our product. And we like the fact that we've never paid for that. That's been just pure placement. We've done some co-branding with some celebrities, but it's the ones that you see in the picture just use the product. We were ready for adult use. We've been set up for this. We've been thinking about it significantly since 2016 of how to be ready. Again, we mentioned ample parking spots. We have the overflow building of the wellness center, which allows us to handle more customers. We have BI tools that are allowing us to look at the POS systems to ensure that we're getting the shelves filled. So we're working from a traditional standpoint of when the POS is happening, it's telling us what to replenish on the shelves. We think that's going to be critical in Arizona because of the size limitation in Arizona, and that you can't keep product necessarily on the shelf in an unlimited warehouse. So you're going to have to stock more frequently, and we're positioned to do that. We're expanding, as I mentioned, in the 2 facilities. We're going to add additional grow rooms in our Prescott and Phoenix location. We approximately have 10 acres of outdoor grow currently in Prescott. We're going to try to expand that by a couple more acres on that facility and do the increase on the rooms. Our edibles continues to grow. By picking up the secondary dispensary, we'll be able to do all the chocolates in one facility, and we'll do the gummies in another facility, which continues to allow us to get automated equipment. We'll have the physical footprint. We're expanding the finished goods space so that we're going to triple that space as we start to stock for the adult use. This is about our expansion beyond Arizona. What we've done is we've done it based upon a return on asset. We've done joint venture models, we've done investment models, joint operations. What we've done is looked at inactive licenses, underutilized licenses in markets, and then had partners approach us. So we'll look at Ohio in specifics because we talked about Ohio. This was a group of investors, a group of people that were in a community that were granted the license, didn't know how to operate. They started a process of trying to find somebody to work with. They reached out to Vapin through references and our social media to ask us if we were interested in talking to them. We talked to them. We vet them as much as they vet us. So we looked at a lot of people that had licenses, no operational experience, no ability to grow, and started picking them off of which ones made sense for us, looking at the market and what we do. Social equity awards, we haven't gotten into that as well as we want to at this point in time, but we do think that's going to be an area that expands. You're seeing the cannabis licenses getting granted with social equity in mind. which will give you a lot of players that have a license and have that asset, don't know what to do with it. You're still going to see a fragmented market with the states, even though there's some large MSOs out there, with the exception of Florida. I would say on the retail space, most of it's still pretty fragmented, and you have a lot of smaller players. Consolidation hasn't taken place as great as it could in other sectors. And I think that's 3 to 5 years off the road, off the map, before that really starts to come into play. But at this point in time, it's going to be still fragmented with smaller operators that, as we put in there this green rush mentality, that think they're going to get rich real quick off of this business, and they won't know what's going on. As an example, we talk about Illinois. So Illinois has 55 dispensaries that are under their medical framework. They awarded 75 licenses for adult use, and only 24% are currently operational. Illinois was smart and learned lessons from the other states. They automatically took their medical dispensaries and gave them the ability to get adult use. Arizona's taking that same model structure where we automatically will be into the adult use. We'll be able to have the adult use license as long as you're in good standing in the state, which VEXT is. We have states outside, as we talked about, joint venture models. We go in with a low valuation of capital of what is required to start them up. We'll usually start out with a manufacturing process, capitalizing on the Vapin brand. We'll put in our SOPs, our processes, our extraction expertise, train them, the new hired facility, and ongoing support of that facility with a loan and a working capital. We also have the right of first refusal on these if there was a sale, or if at some point in time it made financial sense for us to take the other partner out in the state with low exposure. Excuse me. So this is the right fit, of how we're approaching the expansion. So up front, we're evaluating what the license value is, what the state's requirements are. We're looking at what VEXT is going to be contributing to that, and trying to come up with a sense of what the economics are. So what's the share at that point in time? We'll loan working capital into it as needed. The build out will go, at this point in time, the build outs have always been done by the partners where they're providing the building. So we're not accumulating a bunch of hard assets in new markets and a lot of overhead and built-in cost structure. Pre-launch, we're training the senior staff, putting in the ERP systems. We train the salespeople, put them out in the Arizona market with our people, start looking at the assets we need to promote the brand, and utilizing the existing libraries of assets that we've built up over the last 7 years and tweaking it for the individual market. Down at the below where you see the capital requirements, it's usually in the 250 range.
1 minute.
Yes.
Just to let you know, you have 1 minute left.
Okay, great. Thank you. So we'll go for 350 to 750. I'm going to jump through these a little quicker. I'm sorry. This is a breakout of the VEXT situation of where we're at. And this is the achievements of financial timeline. This is a look at our revenue and our performance. As I said, we've been profitable. Management team. And this is the shares. Okay, 30 seconds left.
I'm gonna go ahead and take the last 30 seconds if that's okay.
Absolutely.
I just want people to understand that, because of the nonprofit thing in Arizona, it makes the modeling really hard. And I think it's hard to really get your arms around how much progress Eric has made. But I think there's going to be clarity to that as we sort of move forward, just because some of it's just been digesting some of his growth and some of the initiatives that they've had. So we sort of feel like we'll get better at the modeling going forward. It's still going to be a challenge because you don't really know what the nonprofit's doing. They can't report that. But, I think we can glean some of that as we move forward. So my expectation is that we'll get better at the modeling. But I definitely feel like, as Eric's laid out, there's a lot of things going on here. The Arizona recreational piece is a is a big catalyst, I think. And so I think, obviously we cover the stock. It's on the public side of the site. You can come get it. And, we'd encourage you to kind of look for it going forward. So Eric, we appreciate your time and your willingness to present. Thanks a lot.
Thank you guys for having me.